Alright, video. Fake Sagan. Anyway, so the horror, I had to make extra Fake Sagan video. So I played some other video and the wrong title was showing up in the, some sort of Firefox bug or whatever. Anyway, so I played another video. I thought that was this inmendham video and it wasn't. And so I'll put that on the website. So I'll link to something below. Anyway, I guess I'll try to make a page on the website that links to videos individually, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Or else I'd have to look for it or something, but whatever. It's there somewhere. Just isn't a very good quality video. Did with the other camera, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so this video isn't going to be very good either, but it's just so disappointing. So, 2 pages of notes, playing the video, and it just, it just gets so stupid that you're just like, oh, fuck this. I mean, this argument's just too stupid.
And if you look at the origins of feminist theory...
Oh, okay, we're not back far enough.
Female physicists are pretending to be men? Yeah, I am. Like, we've already gotten to a point where men are underrepresented at the university level.
Yeah, and whose fault is that, right? It's somehow it's women's fault that men are, wasting their time on, shooting baskets and doing drugs, right? Oh, okay.
What are we going to do when the bridges and skyscrapers just start falling?
Well, whatever. I mean, the fact that we're not even spending anything on infrastructure is sort of irrelevant to this whole engineering argument, and your argument that somehow women can't acquire qualified skills as engineers is just idiotic. I mean, it's really idiotic. I mean, women can't do math. Oh yeah, except women basically did all the math that made the atomic bomb, right?
Down around us. Because that's definitely coming.
Oh, there's worse than that coming, buddy. Trust me. And you're the kind of retard that's driving us there.
Liberal arts degrees and...
Yeah, I agree. Liberal arts degrees are bullshit. Oh, you went to university and you wasted your time on crap, didn't you, jackass? At least when I was going to college, I knew what classes I was taking. All chemistry, all physics.
And women with science degrees aren't going to keep the wheels turning very long.
Yeah, whatever. Based on what? Real, hard evidence. Oh, that's right, none. I mean, look, the experiment was sort of done in Russia. There's other places where, women have been liberated for periods of time and demonstrated competence. So this argument is moot to anyone with any kind of knowledge of reality. It's idiotic, and it's just bigotry, jerk.
I think at some point, some horrible chauvinist bigot is going to have to stand up and say, you know what, there's a difference between men and women.
Yeah, and that's not the argument that's being argued. The feminists aren't arguing that. No one's arguing there's not differences between men and women. They're kind of obvious. So physical ones. And it has to do with the different, gonads and different hormones that are dominating our bloodstream. So I don't think there's anybody arguing there aren't physical differences. The argument being made is that we're intelligent organisms now. We have brains, and those brains function based on logic and reasoning. And that's not different. The truth in the world isn't different. The stars aren't different distances. The moon isn't a different kind of round. All that kind of stuff is all the fucking same for both sexes, jackass. And it can be understood the same by both sexes, jackass. We can both understand what we are. We can understand our compulsions. We can understand our tendencies. And we can live around them. Not be controlled by them. Fuckhead. Ignorant turd. You believe in Jesus, for fuck's sake. What fucking credibility do you have as anyone arguing about a truth or a fact? Obviously you have no collection of facts. You think Jesus isn't anything more than a fictional fairy tale character, you stupid cunt?
Your place is in the home.
Your place is in the retarded cell, you fucking retard.
Children, dear.
The children, dear. Yeah, like that's how we're supposed to just keep playing this biological role game, right? We never grow up. We never figure out to have something called a civilization or do anything kind of rational. We all just thump around and say, what does my penis say I should do today? You know, what a pile of crap. I mean, what a pile of crap. I mean, you should be sentenced to have a uterus and just pop out babies that die. Fucking cunt.
Let me go build some shit.
Yeah, right. Like men did all the lugging, and I'm sure there's no women involved in that whole making of the pyramids, and there was no women doing the Great Wall of China. I'm sure there were no women dragged any rocks to build that one. What a crock of shit. Crock of shit.
And if you look at...
So anyway, so you can just see that, you know, once you got to this, it was like, oh, is there really any point in having a conversation with somebody this fucking stupid? No. What an idiot. Alright, so anyway, I'll just obey my notes here. So we start off by, okay, let's do the paraphrase, the video, rather than the response video, because you do a response video where you respond to my points, and apparently it was 40 minutes long, and so, yeah, that was too long, even though this one's 29 minutes long. Big difference, 10 minutes, and, yeah, I think the argument is that, yeah, you can't make these points unless he distorts what I said, and that's all. But anyway, something about ponage, okay, yeah, I did bring up a couple of your older mistakes, yeah, because they're there. And it's part of credibility, I suppose. You sort of have to gain that back. You can't throw it away. You know, you can't drink and drive 10 times and then just look at everybody and say, "Well, treat me like I never was a drunk driver." No, you've been a drunk driver. You're going to be treated as you've kind of earned some skepticism, jackass. And that's what I was implying. Okay, yeah, so he thought I would just ignore his simplistic advice. Yeah, superficially simplistic. Yeah, well, look, the fact that I'm not soliciting advice, but yes, after 6 years or whatever it's been, 5, I don't know, you make a comment on a video, yeah, I'm going to respond to it, that's right. I'm going to read it anyway, and then once I read it, I'm going to say, oh, fuck, you know, I might as well say something to this shit. Alright, so I pushed his button by defending feminism. So apparently this is a real problem for him, is, you know, these men traitors. You know, fuck you. Anyway, I mean, you know, you can make a million arguments about, you know, what the good that women have done. And, you know, just one of those statistics that is, you know, if women didn't have the vote, Theodore Roosevelt wouldn't have been president. There wouldn't have been any Democratic presidents. Men would have just kept voting for Mr. Big Stick Man, the moron, the warmonger. Okay, so just think that first there wouldn't have been any, you know, temperament, and on top of that, whatever did get elected, it would be worse. I mean, John Wayne maybe would have been president. You know, that's so I'm just saying, for that alone, I have a debt to women. For that alone. For Theodore Roosevelt alone, I owe women. Anyway, my own interest. So I brought that up. Like my interest is NASCAR. No, it's not. That's not my interest. Inheritance wealth. No, that's not my interest. Greed. That's not my interest. Everything that men stand for, that you could give them a badge and say that's a man's idea, the red state kind of thing, makes me want to vomit. Alright, so traditional male values, they're just cheaters, connivers, thieves, liars, shysters, crooks. You know, they will lie, you know, for something petty, like just stealing a little pussy. Real case scenarios in my real life. Men, They lied about having a wife, lied about the fact that their wife was dying of cancer. Why, they have a... This was a police officer, by the way. So they can steal some almost underage pussy. That's, yeah, that traditional male, squash it like a bug. I find it so insulting to what it is to be a man. Okay, the traditional male, I'll get my jet fighter and go mow down the enemy. That ballless crap. Yeah, fuck that shit. You know, what kind of traditional male values in that? You know, this cheaters, motherfucking cunt cheaters, ballless, gutless, principleless, cheating fucks. That's what men have traditionally shown themselves to be. Is when the rubber hits the road, their balls are nowhere to be found. Anyway. But anyway, my own interest is that I had 3 sisters. That's, yeah, there's my own interest right there. So it wasn't hard for me to see the liabilities of being a girl. And it was kind of obvious. And I had sisters who didn't play the, you know, traditional role playing. You know. And, you know, so that even made it more obvious. Because they had to pay a price for that. Fuck you. Yeah, really. But they fell into traps. I mean, they all had kids, you know. They all fell into the role playing. Anyway. It was like, okay, so then he went on this defense of monarchy, for fuck's sake. Some, you know, the other asshole in the video had made some defense, and you're just like, why get upset? It's like he compared it to Mexicans liking sombreros. So the fact is the biggest blight affecting the fucking world right now is the fact that there's 0.01% of the population that hold more wealth than 90% of the people. And they really have it all. They have everything. They have your power of production. They decide what gets invested in. All the shystery, the commercialism, the lies, the fraud, the fake. It's all on them. They're the ones deciding that's where the investment goes. They have stolen half the value of your salaries. They've destroyed the value of work. And it's just a hat choice. Red hat, blue hat, green hat. It's inconsequential, this love affair assholes have with genetic superiority or something. Somehow I am legacy owner of the world. I was born to a specific vagina, therefore I have merit. That's a male idea, apparently. And it's sick and disgusting and putridly stupid. And anybody who says anything good about monarchy is the same as some asshole saying there's something good about slavery. He's an idiot. Monarchy is as ugly a symbol as slavery, for fuck's sake. It's a disgusting bigotry. Nepotism is a grotesquely ugly psychology. And the fact that you're too stupid to recognize that, being some guy who seems confused as why the world is dysfunctional. The reason why the world is dysfunctional is because it's being controlled by 0.01% of the population who didn't earn one fucking goddamn cent of it, who didn't earn one ounce of the control they possess. They never earned any of it, you dumb fuck. And that's what's wrong with the fucking world, you stupid ass. God, you're so fucking dumb. But to defend monarchy and defend lovers of monarchy or respecters of monarchy, again, you might as well just start talking about how black people belong in the field. Why don't you do that too? While you're at it, asshole. Alright. Feminism, a poor reproductive strategy. I don't even know what he meant by that, because he was basically arguing that somehow it's a positive sex strategy. And maybe all that strategy has something to do with it somewhere. But who cares? There's an argument to be made that there are liabilities to being a woman that are substantial and significant. And you can keep pretending they don't exist, but they do. and they're built on traditional unfairnesses and positions that weren't earned. Again, men were bigger. Might makes right. That's all. All right. Poor question mark. What? What something? Dumb kids versus smart kids. Let's see. Where was I going with that? Well, this whole reproductive strategy, I guess. I mean, why would I? This whole idea of having kids is kind of obnoxious, and irresponsible. No demonstration of competence here anywhere. And why would I raise kids to be controlled? You're saying we're owned by our biology and the roles that we will play based on hormones in our bloodstream, and that we can't somehow overcome any of that. Why would I sentence a kid to be a role player? If his mind isn't more powerful than his body, then I really don't want to have one. I don't want to have one anyway. But frankly, if its intelligence isn't going to be the ruler of its destiny, then fuck it. Animal story of poof. Yeah, well, whatever. Frankly, I'm just saying that I'm not the one arguing. Yeah, he said somewhere in here that I was arguing that gender is a social construct. And I've never said anything close to that. I've said exactly the opposite. Men and women are physically different. I said that in my video, for fuck's sake. I pointed out, yes, they have, tits and vaginas. Men have penises. Different. And it has a consequence, but it doesn't have a consequence more powerful than our understanding. Dumb fuck. So he's saying that women are a category, that he can generalize, and that can be considered a seriously rational thing to do, is to make sweeping generalizations and to pigeonhole them and to say this is what they are and they will always be and they will not migrate into being anything else, and nothing in socialization or maturation has anything to do with this. And I say that's all crap, that it's that we engineer the pigeonholes that the two are pushed into, and that engineering is breaking down. It's not as pervasive as it used to be, but it's almost, in a sense, there's still a huge negative liability in that some of that breakdown is just people being aggressively anti. So it's like the inverted Catholic or something. It's like the alcoholic who becomes the religious kook as an answer. The new drug is Jesus. Yeah, it's not really a solution. So anyway, but yeah, you obviously couldn't say, you won't find a quote where I'm saying gender is a social construct. I've clearly stated, yes, women are from Venus, men are from Mars, but the point is they both have a thing called intelligence, and they can both understand the nature of Martianness and the nature of Venusianness. And they can understand that let's not be owned by these identity things, and that certainly there's certain places like the bedroom where, okay, the difference between a penis and a vagina will make sense, but everywhere else it probably isn't going to matter. So then he's just doing some jive about who started sex differences, and yes, obviously I've made arguments. It's a biological thing. Yes, we were originally insects, for fuck's sake. We evolved on this planet, and we've evolved a thing called a reasoning intelligence, and we can apply that. So this whole idea that once a bug, always a bug is just absolute bullshit. And any kind of stupid notion that women are born to have babies and do nothing else, and men are born to build things, which is, where's there evidence that they do that in fucking nature? Why don't you show me how the male gorillas are doing a lot of building of things? They're doing a lot of killing of things. Hierarchy be bad, okay? And that's a lesson human beings can learn. Hormones are not intelligent, and there should always be a mechanism to test when there's good reason to go on a genocidal raid. Okay, so then he was making some kind of comparison, like women are all women. Like there's like Betty Boop is a fantasy character, and that the female physicist is a fantasy character, and somehow there aren't real differences. Really, there aren't real type differences. So he's saying that it's okay to make these huge broad brush generalizations about what men is and what woman is, but you can't make type generalizations, which is just idiotic because obviously the subcategories are much stronger than the main category. The difference between NASCAR Gun Nut Bubba and Carl Sagan is about as different as any kind of difference between me and my sister, for example, my twin sister. You'll find more difference between Bubba NASCAR Gun Nut and Carl Sagan than you're going to find between me and my sister, even though we are physically very different. So it's just bullshit to say these types don't exist, and to say that our physical condition doesn't have to dictate our identity in substance. So I got to like women can't do math, which is just stupid. They've just been told they can't do things, and when they figure out they can do them, they do them. How many? I don't know. I mean, you go back in history, and you could say, yeah, all performers in Shakespeare's time were men. Yeah, why? Because you think women couldn't do it? No, that wasn't the reason. So, I mean, let's not just play this game that the chauvinism hasn't been because men don't want to be shown up. And, again, they'd rather cheat at the fight. They're afraid of being bettered by a woman. They're pussies. Yeah, they're a pussy.
The origins of feminist theory.
Look, the origins of feminist theory is what's so complicated here, right? Women have to have the babies. They have to invest in the babies. They invest their physical life in the babies. There's a huge risk to women, and to play this game like it's not, like there's somehow this isn't a more obvious responsibility and obligation. They're really doing the bun in the oven thing. Okay, I mean, mixing in the bowl is one thing, but the real investment is the energy to cook it. However you want to put that. And clearly there's no, besides what legal responsibility strings we can attach, yes, physical reality doesn't impose the responsibility equitably. Duh.
Let's talk about.
I mean, it's what should be, jackass. We're not, again, you want to say we're supposed to be bugs and we're supposed to always be bugs? Well, go ahead and say that. But anybody with a brain should be revolted.
Feminism itself, let's talk about the movement.
Who cares? I mean, you talk about that all you want. I'm not part of any fucking movement. I'm a defender of the idea, okay, that women have been denied certain liberty. And it's almost like the argument for slavery. You can make the argument that slavery is over and that nothing happened, it doesn't matter, but of course it matters, because slaves have no legacy wealth. There's still Rothschild gold money in the world right now. There's still slave plantation money in the world right now, being enjoyed by people who got it through legacy. Now, what's the legacy of slavery? The legacy of slavery is we didn't even let them read and write. We didn't let them be educated. We kept them alive to do one thing, which is be obedient slaves. We fucked with their psychology. We fucked with their physical genetics. And then we denied them a legacy of any kind for all the work they did. And then we're surprised that 200 years later they haven't really gotten out of their slums. But you think you would have. Whitey somehow would have. Whitey couldn't escape the British Empire, you fucker. Okay? They couldn't manage that one. They couldn't kill a king.
what comes to mind, or what should come to mind for most people, is the original feminists, the suffragettes, the British suffragettes that got the right to vote. A lot of their tactics have been whitewashed by history. Like, everybody remembers the hunger strike. All those poor women starved themselves in jail.
Yeah, again, who wants to argue this bullshit? You know, you want to argue the Civil War and every battle in the Civil War and every ethic of every strategy applied in the Civil War? I don't. Or the Revolutionary War? All right, let's just keep talking about how the Boston Tea Party, right? The tea in the ocean wasn't exactly overtaxed, more expensive tea. No, it was cheaper British tea. The cheap tea was the shit in the bay.
Mean men wouldn't give them the right to vote. Yeah, they also burned down churches at night, beat doctors with rhino whips in the street. They were terrorists. They were essentially fucking terrorists.
And right, and this again is relevant somehow to what? And it's the obligation of, so again, because there was some soldiers in the Revolutionary War who probably were very unfair to British soldiers, treated them badly, abused them. Therefore, we should just give the war back. We should just say, oh, it's a little illegitimate war. Yes, Britain, it's your country. Yeah, take it back.
They were like ISIS. And really, they should have been killed. There you go.
Well, I love that. Okay, so if everybody who looks like a terrorist or talks like a terrorist or does some kind of terrorist kind of shit, let's just kill them. Okay, I'm agreeable. Let's do that.
We should have ended it right there. We shouldn't have given chicks the right to vote.
Oh, fuck. All right, now we're done, right? We shouldn't have given chicks the right to vote. Now I'm done, right? I mean, that is so fucking stupid. I mean, you should, yes. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, how I mean, Coco the gorilla is a chick. And let's say that we could give Coco the gorilla an injection that gave Coco a regular IQ. You're saying Coco the gorilla because she's a chick gorilla. We shouldn't listen to her. She's crazy. I don't know what to say, right? There's nothing to say to this except this is too fucking stupid. So bad on you, anybody who's putting up with this crap, saying, oh yeah, let's listen to Fake Archaic and babble about how women shouldn't be allowed to vote. No thank you. Oh, pathetic. Goodbye, crazy fuck. Stupid moron.